Grandin Road has released their first Halloween 2022 animatronic, as well as a new static prop. Let's jump right into it. For everything scary, I'm GMHaunts, and welcome to my first Grandin Road Halloween 2022 news video. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Grandin Road's 2022 Halloween Haven sneak peek has begun with the release of their first 2022 animatronic, as well as their first 2022 static prop. Now, every year, Grandin Road will release just a handful of life-size Halloween animatronics, and that has begun with their brand new Haunted Librarian, as well as their set of 3 Holding Hand Reapers. Now, today, I'm going to talk about these first 2 items, what I think about them, and how cool they really are. So, without further ado, let's jump right into the beginning of the Grandin Road Halloween Haven 2022 collection.
Another foolish child. You'd better keep your voice down. I'm afraid that you don't want to hear what happened to the last person making a ruckus in my library.
Alright, so let's start this off strong by talking about Grandin Road's first 2022 animatronic, and this year it is the animated Haunted Librarian. Now, this animatronic will be manufactured by SVI Seasonal Visions International, and as you can see, it is basically a witch kind of creepy librarian holding a potion book, finger pointed in the air, and she does say some creepy different phrases. Now, to be completely honest with you, I'm not a giant fan of this animatronic, but there are definitely some positives about her that obviously I am going to share right now. So, like I mentioned, this animatronic is manufactured by SVI, and honestly, I think this is a very good thing for Grandin Road. SVI is obviously known for using latex head sculpts and basically using a very similar material for all of their animatronic heads. We are seeing a latex head with moving mouth on this animated Haunted Librarian. It is a little bit simple, and that's one of my negatives that I will get into in a second that goes with the whole animatronic. I feel like that this animatronic is a little bit plain on a whole. It is meant to be a librarian, but I feel like not a ton of the clothing or even the face screams librarian to me. When I first saw this stock photo, I honestly thought that we were getting yet another witch animatronic. Then I saw that her name is Animated Haunted Librarian and was kind of surprised. Oh wow, this is meant to be a librarian animatronic. I feel like the look of her outfit, as well as the face and hair, really looks like a witch to me more than it does a creepy librarian. Even the potion book, I feel like if SVI and Grandin Road was going for a librarian look to her, maybe giving her an actual book instead of a potion book would have looked a little bit better, because once again, she kind of looks like a witch, and giving her a potion book really just makes that witch aesthetic come out even more. So I just feel like she doesn't really look like a librarian, at least in my eyes. Taking a look at the audio and taking a look at really how it sounds, I'm not a huge opponent of the audio, but at the same time, I'm not a huge fan of it either. Once again, just like the aesthetic and look of her, I feel like the audio sounds a lot more like a witch than it does like a librarian. The things she says really just sound like a witch. She mentions turning someone that was very loud into a mouse. Obviously, that's a very witch kind of phrase that could be slapped on a witch animatronic instead of a librarian. I feel like SVI or Grandin Road, whoever was behind really the creative direction of this animatronic, should have gone with some more librarian phrases or some more librarian look for the animatronic. Now, at the same time, I'm not a huge, opponent, once again, of the animatronic and the look of it. It does really look like a witch in my opinion, but it doesn't look necessarily bad. I do like how she has a chain kind of around her waist. I like that sculpt of the hands. Once again, I already said the head is a little bit plain, but it doesn't look bad. It just looks plain in my opinion. I like the kind of ruffles on her chest area. I think that looks good. And again, I'm not trying to say that the outfit is bad or the look of this animatronic is bad. I just think it doesn't necessarily look like a librarian, which is what the idea or the concept that Grandin Road is going for. Now, obviously, it is known for the past couple of years that Grandin Road always has very, very high prices for their animatronics, and it looks to be that that will be continuing for the 2022 Halloween season because the animated Haunted Librarian will be retailing for $329, a whopping 330 bucks for this animatronic. Way overpriced, and I'm definitely not the only one saying this because a 6-foot animatronic that basically only has LED eyes and a moving mouth. Basically that's all she has, and a little bit of side-to-side animation. That's way too overpriced. $330 should be a 7-foot animatronic that has a lot of animation, maybe even some smoking capabilities, a lot of different stuff, maybe LCD eyes. $330 is just way overpriced for this animatronic, and honestly, anyone who is in the right mind, who could go to Spirit Halloween or Home Depot and buy something for $200, that's way better. This is just way overpriced for this animated Haunted Librarian. But nonetheless, that's our first animatronic for the Grandin Road Halloween 2022 season. And even though it's not the best, it's still definitely very interesting to see that SVI is making a librarian animatronic for Grandin Road. Let's take a look at this static prop that was released by Grandin Road for the 2022 Halloween season. Alright, so the second life-size that has been released for the Grandin Road Halloween 2022 season is the Holding Hand Reapers set of 3. Now, honestly, this one is pretty simple, and this is not an animatronic because this is actually a static prop. I guess I should probably say a set of static props because 3 come in one set for this brand new item. What we have here is basically a creepy ghost reaper, whatever you want to call it, figure with a black cloak on and a ball head, a spherical head that has a yellow or orange flashing light when it is activated or when it is plugged in. I believe it has a constant activation where the light just continuously flashes for however long it is plugged in. Now, to be completely honest with you, this one is actually kind of cool, even for how simple it is, and even though it doesn't do much, I actually like it quite a bit. I feel like the flashing in the head is actually kind of creepy and a very eerie kind of look. In the pitch darkness, this would actually be a pretty creepy set of figures if you were walking by them. I will admit that in the daylight, these guys they do look a little bit cheap, honestly. They kind of look to just be made out of a creepy cloth material that's very cheap and might rip pretty easily. But in the darkness, where you couldn't make out what they were really made out of, the flashing light in their head would be kind of eerie to walk by, and it would create a very cool effect, especially with some fog maybe coming out from behind them. It would honestly look pretty decent. Like I said, they're pretty simple, and they don't have a lot going on with them. Basically just a black cloak. Maybe if they had some kind of sickle in their hand, it would make them look even better, but nonetheless, it is very eerie, the blinking light that is in their head. Now, the set of 3 will be retailing for $129, basically 130 United States bucks, rounded up. Honestly, I feel like this is actually a good price for the set of 3 Holding Hand Reapers. Now, obviously, like I just mentioned, Grandin Road normally does overpriced stuff. I feel like $130 for 3 of these guys is actually a pretty good deal. They are pretty eerie, they are kind of basic, but nonetheless, they will make your Halloween display a little bit better with some fog. They will create an eerie effect, and even if you bought multiple sets of them, like we are seeing in the stock photo and the stock video, it would create an even cooler effect in the darkness to just walk by a line of these very eerie figures with blinking lights in their head. Pretty interesting to see that we are getting a new version of this because obviously Grandin Road in the past released another version that I believe was known as the Standing Witches. So now we are seeing this version that is known to be as the Reapers. Nonetheless, pretty cool to see that we are getting a new Holding Hand Reaper set of 3 for the Grandin Road Halloween 2022 season. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up my video taking a look at and reacting to the 2 brand new life sizes that have been released for the Grandin Road Halloween Haven season so far. Once again, Grandin Road should continue to release brand new decorations and life sizes as the days and weeks go on, as we go into July. That's normally when Halloween Haven releases the most stuff. These are the only 2 that we have as of right now, but nonetheless, they are kind of cool. Librarian isn't super librarian-esque in my opinion, but the eerie standing figures are kind of cool, especially for the price of $130. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Remember, as always, for everything scary, I'm GMHaunts. I'll see you guys later for more Grandin Road Halloween 2022 videos. Goodbye.